out of the race after a poor showing in the first round. Happy with the strong turnout, Wade was quick to criticize Macky Sall, leading up to the face-off on March 25th. He is like a witch doctor. He does not realize the cost of all this, and he makes mistakes. At the Place de France Square, Abdoulaye Wade tried to win over the supporters of Idrissa Seck who are backing Macky Sall. Several hours earlier at the same square, Macky Sall and local opposition leaders, including Idrissa Seck, had rallied the troops. Sall said he will not let them down. Grts has just proven that Senegal is united, and I am aware of my responsibility here. Wade was promising to make Grts the second capital of Senegal, but Macky Sall promised to solve the problems of youth unemployment. Young people are a sizable percentage of the 270,000 registered voters here.
After watching members of the Malian army go on rampage during the early hours of the coup that toppled the civilian government of Ahmadou Toumani Touré, coup leader Captain Ahmadou Haya Senugu has been making efforts to curtail the damage done to the image of the army. Meanwhile, a number of prominent politicians in the West African country have condemned the coup, calling on the coup leaders to relinquish power and make an immediate return to the barracks. For more on that story, we turn to the CFR report.
The situation remains unclear in Mali 3 days after the putsch against President Amadou Toumani Touré. The soldiers backing the putsch are trying to control the situation in the streets of Bamako, where pillaging appears to be the order of the day. Putsch leader Captain Sonogo was critical of the pillaging and vandalism and called on civil society leaders to join the National Unity Committee. We want reforms, and those who also want this can count on us. The various branches of our civil society can be counted on. We must sit down and talk. With him were men from all different services of the military, and he said that the military remains united, but he has not been followed by the important politicians in Mali. Most of them have condemned the coup d'etat. Constitutional order must be reestablished. The election schedule must be maintained and the date kept the same. Only the opposition party Sadi, led by Omar Mariko, praised and justified the putsch. When misery is everywhere, there must be a solution. The putsch leaders are also isolated outside the country. The African Union has suspended Mali. The Union and ECOWAS are preparing a mission to Bamako. The whereabouts of President Touré are unknown.
We have been told that the president is safe, protected by a certain number of loyalists. Correct? Loyalists? Loyalists.
The indirect cause of the coup d'etat, the rebel Tuaregs in the north. Their leaders in Nouakchott announced that they are ready to negotiate. Their goal is the taking of the Azawad region, nothing more.
Thousands of protesters, mainly African-American, are calling for the opening of investigation into the sitting death of Trayvon Martin, a young African-American by a white Hispanic volunteer guard. The man says he shot the teenager, who was unarmed at the time, in self-defense. Speaking at the White House, President Obama weighed in on the issue, calling for the matter to be looked into seriously. Let's look at this report for more on that.
The case has shaken America to its core. On February 26, Trayvon Martin, a 17-year-old black boy, was shot and killed in Florida by George Zimmerman, a 28-year-old white man of Hispanic origin. The teenager had just bought himself some sweets. It was raining. He put on his hood. Zimmerman, a volunteer guard on a neighborhood watch, decided to follow the boy. He called 911.
He's got his hand in his waistband. And he's a black male. Are you following him? Yeah. Okay, we don't need you to do that. Yeah.
But Zimmerman did and fired. The neighbors called the police. There are many volunteer neighborhood watch guards in the state of Florida. The state's law, called Stand Your Ground, authorizes a citizen to shoot at anyone if they feel threatened. It is this law that has so far protected George Zimmerman, who was released by the police when he said he acted in self-defense. But the fact is that young Trayvon was unarmed. The parents of the young victim are now fighting for justice.
They're treating this as My son is the perp. My son is the victim here. There's no reason why he should have been in that situation. No reason whatsoever.
Thousands of people have taken to the streets throughout the country in support of Traven's family and to denounce a crime that was allegedly based on racial discrimination. President Barack Obama himself stepped into the emotional storm.
You know, if I had a son, he'd look like Trayvon. I think they are right to expect that all of us as Americans are going to take this with the seriousness it deserves, and that we're going to get to the bottom of exactly what happened.
Protesters claim that Traven's killing is just the last example of racial profiling and unjust treatment of blacks. The case will be presented before a grand jury in Florida next month.
We now take our second break. The news continues in just a moment. Welcome back. And in sports, Brikama United came from behind to draw the first leg of their African Cup Champions League double-header against Tunisian heavyweights Esperance de Tunis. The away side took an early lead courtesy of Bouzi Wadji, following a sloppy defending from the host in the 4th minute. That set back Sport Brikama United into meaningful action, hitting back with a 13th minute equalizer by Musa Bojang. The two sides will contest the second leg of their encounter in the North African country with the tie balance at 1 apiece. We hope to bring you details of that story by Modo S. Jallo in our tomorrow's newscast. And before we go, a reminder of our headlines. The Health and Social Welfare Minister has presided over the official handing over and commissioning of a newly built clinic and laboratory facility at the Maltu State Central Prisons. The Anti-Tuberculosis Coalition has been highlighting the gains made in the battle against the stubborn respiratory disease and the huge challenges that lie ahead. The President Abdoulaye Wade campaign caravan and that of his opponent Macky Sall have stormed the important city of Thiès hours apart, with Wade using his visit to lash out at his former ally Idrissa Seck. And President Barack Obama has weighed in on the race row contagion sparked by the killing of an African-American teenager by a white Hispanic volunteer guard, this after resisting the urge to comment on the raging controversy for weeks. Well, you can also follow that story and other GRTS programs live on our website, which is at www.grts.gm. There you can also monitor GRTS Radio Live. Well, that brings us to the end of the news. Thanks for the pleasure of your company and enjoy our range of very interesting programs.
jigéen daal da ngay bari fen lii di vitale boo koy gis sa xol bi dafay sedd guy nga dégg ko sa xel bi dafay dal vitale daal yaay ki may wéttali baa ngi
bismillah waaye soxna si yaakaar bari feem xam nga cere kilifa la dañ koy teral te xool naa meew yi yëpp gis na vitale rek moo ma ci doy
soxna si lépp lu baax si askan wi rek xam na fu mu koy utiyee waa sëñ bi da nga andi ñu boole ko
déet nañ bàyyi bii nag moom nañ bàyyi
dëgg am nga
jaaraama vitale lañ ko war a delloo ndax vitale moo ko yam vitale dàq ci cuuraagente complexe gën ci ruy rawatina nag cere di amu buri këram vitale daal yaa ko yam meew baa ngi nii
ma ne bëggatuñu meewu pot meew bu tel lañu bëgg rawatina meewu vitale bii
vitale daal yaa ko yam
maa ngi ci lii de waaw ma ne waaye fa jëm nii waaw fii lay daal ay fay ñi ngay def waaw waaye yow loolu tax moo fay ji nag service bi mu may jox dëgg moo ma doy moo tax moo rek laay def kay am nañu monnaie direct am nañu monnaie express am nañu